Greetings all. Director Peoplz checking in. For those of you who already know me, I thank you for embracing the Cothenians. That sounds so cool. I shed a tear seeing how one thing we all have in common can bring us together as we drown ourselves in the things that we love, like role-playing, storytelling, world building, things we do around the table after a game of Dungeons and Dragons, laughing, joking, and discussing what happened in the game we just had. Or maybe you don't play RPGs and Dungeons and Dragons, but surely you can recall sitting around with your friends talking about what events transpired in last night's episode of Game of Thrones or Dragon Ball Z. At least I can. I used to play Dungeons and Dragons every Sunday with friends. Nothing could put me down, knowing that that dopamine hit was waiting for me at the end of the week. Then life disbanded our group, and that's when schedules and distance became a factor in place of small things like what pizza toppings we're going to have or how much is too much anchovies. I needed a way to transcend schedules so we didn't have to meet and they didn't have to devote too much time and could give me just enough to provide that same cinematic storytelling I would when I was DMing. And so Peoplz and Dragons was born. And I say that to say that P&D fills a void for me. It lets me continue to do what I love. All the forms, all the world building, all that's there to replace the need for us to be face to face and for you to be in a world created by your friends. I want that. Director Slater wants that. And you are all in good hands. So thank you all for playing, being kind to one another, sharing your creativity, and supporting Peoplz and Dragons. Me and Slater are going to put in some work. In the meantime, I have some updates for you, and I'll also use this as an opportunity to introduce you to two pre-existing universes in P&D, Gamma Haven and Village. We'll start with Gamma Haven. Gamma Haven is for fans of sci-fi, dark and gritty, Sin City, superpowered action. Players can create any type of character they want, along with 3 key abilities that can also be whatever you want. There is no such thing as overpowered or underpowered because each player is measured by their rank, and every player starts at the same rank. Gamma Haven is only driven by the narrative because as a player, everything you submit comes true if your role was successful. The odds of your success is heavily dependent upon the narrative of what's happening around you. This could be the circumstances you're in, or some effect another player is having on the scene. If you're a character who does better at nighttime, if you write in your submission that it's nighttime, then it's nighttime because you wrote that. This means no matter what type of ability or character you have, you can have an impact, sometimes in ways that only you know when you hear it. Episodes are structured into events and story. You can choose to take an action in a global event that's happening, but keep in mind, so can everyone else. Everyone's actions are then mixed into one big ball of awesome, and then I present it to you the only way that I can. No doubt there's a lot of action, but this is just a reflection of the types of characters active in the game right now. Any moment things can slow down or get dicey. Choosing the story option allows you to focus on your character as I build a story around them. This is an opportunity to explore your character's lore, giving the viewers a glimpse into your life, like your own Netflix special. The beauty of Gamma Haven is how you all get tied into one another as I orchestrate an overarching story around all of you. Season 1 was a lot of table setting. I had to do some things to kind of show you what the world really involves before I took the lid off. It just ended, and Season 2 will begin soon. In fact, submissions are closing Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So that's Thursday, the 10th, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Gamma Haven will be closing. If you don't plan on playing as a character, then please help Tempest, Haven City's time-manipulating beacon of hope, by jumping into the lore building and add some heroes or some do-gooders to help him. The city is currently run by a technopath with an army of killer androids augmented with alien technology. He needs some help. Next is the Village universe. This game is less player versus environment and more focused on player versus environment. It is a post-apocalyptic survival horror setting where you, the players, band together and try to brave dark times. Everyone is asked to create a real person with realistic specialized skills and or talents that they then use to contribute to the settlement and others. Players benefit from building relationships and growing bonds that better equip them for the challenges that they're going to face. Village is more base building and social than the other universes and is all about teamwork. During submission time, players can choose to show us a slice of their life and how they build relationships with other players and NPCs, perhaps start a family. With long term in mind, we have a system where if you die, you become your offspring or relative. It's all about generations and lineage. The flip side of Village is the death era. All the characters are living in a time where every existing antagonistic force of death has manifested on the planet, like the last scene of Cabin in the Woods. Whether it's killer clowns, Michael Myers, or zombie-inspired creatures, the players will be periodically challenged by these enemies along with other misfortunes. The best part is the players are the ones who create the death forces that the players will face. Using our death force system on the P&D site, we ask you to rip the most horrifying thing that you can imagine out of your brain and pit it against the players. And Gwydion, something's wrong with Gwydion. There are some things that he put in there, and I hope you don't have to face those. But anyway, occasionally we will have a player become compromised, like a game of werewolf. You ever play that game with your friends? You're sitting around in a circle. One of you are the werewolf. You don't know. Just to see where that goes. It's going to be fun. That said, if you were in the last episode, please visit the P&D website or wiki to view the summary of rewards to see what your character gained. Some of you earned new bond perks as a result of building a story with another player. I also would like to announce, now that the characters are settled in their location, they can jump into the settlement builder on pndrpg.com and begin claiming locations to make their own. As the story progresses, your character will need a place they can call their own. For example, Randy Parsons wouldn't be able to decorate his room with that computer that he has until he had actually used settlement life phases to build the computer in the first place. I encourage players to be as detailed as possible when describing their abodes. Hopefully, you can call the place home for a good while. Also, the Village phase is open now. Right now. If you like base building, XCOM, survival horror, hell, The Sims, Animal Crossing, then head to Village and join the family. Moving on, I wanted to briefly discuss Patreon and its structure. It troubles me a bit to make so many changes, vast changes, but I feel they are changes for the better. The current model was designed for a poor old bachelor like myself with little time, trying to make ends meet while building from the ground up. And boy, have we been building. Every comment, every suggestion, whether I liked it or not, every like button smashed, every new subscriber, every $1 all the way to $25 pledge has allowed me to get my footing. Now I feel comfortable bringing on some help, and so the addition of Director Slater has strengthened the brand in more ways than just a universe. So there will be some changes that reflect the collaborative effort me and him are putting forth. In the meantime, and until further notice, nothing will be changing, but I did want to address that for anyone that was wondering. Some have inquired. Goddamn. Some have inquired and or expressed interest in being a director, and the best way I can describe that is it's a process of scaled growth, comfort, trust, It's puzzle pieces, and I need to roll things out slow. I want this brand to be like a family, and I'm not entirely in a rush to extend family. Not saying I don't want to, but there are goals that I want to hit first. However, if any of you have some time to spare and want to do something for the community, referee some in-character role-playing channels that I have some ideas for, submit some fan art, or if you just have any ideas, feel free to message me in Discord or contact us by way of pndrpg.com, and we can put it on the table, open it up, and see what you're talking about. So, that wraps that up. Again, thank you all for being with us. You're listening to the P&D Cast, the official podcast for all things P&D. Follow our station, download the Anchor app, and chime in on conversations by calling in with a quick voice message like this.
Okay, my question is in regards to Tao Yang. First of all, you gotta love that name. That name is creative. I love that name.
Hell yeah.
Rolls off the tongue.
Tao Yang. Tao Yang.
But anyways, will Tao Yang be responsible to inform the group about every death encounter the group faces? Like, will he be, I guess, an encyclopedia for the death forces that we will face?
That's a good question. And when I was speaking with the player of Tao Yang, so far it seems like that's what he's going for. His character is a wise monk, and his order of monks, they are in charge of keeping that information archived and knowing about it in case it is ever time for people to know about it. And if you recall, in his solo series, the monks were kind of lacking on their job. They didn't, he told them that the signs of the times are coming. They didn't see it and or cared. So he took the book of Ki. So he has a lot of knowledge of the things that are out there. Will it be everything? No. There's going to be some creatures that I'm sure someone's going to write that just isn't something that's in the realm of what his people studied. But hey, thanks for calling in. That is Makai of Gamma Haven. He's also Deacon Myers of Village. And I think his co-theme character was Valiant or something like that. I don't know. I got to see. By the way, my co-theme character, I was up till 3 a.m. last night making it because that's how serious this is to me. I'll see y'all later. Peace and love.